Hey guys, Shay here with Fool on a Journey. It's my next tarot book review, and I have for you Tarot and You, the first book of taped tarot card readings by Richard Roberts. What's so fascinating about this book is that in its own incredibly dated, and by incredibly dated I mean very outdated way, it's what we're doing now when we watch each other give readings on YouTube. So that's kind of cool. He really did just sit down with, the clients that came in at the time and explained to them, I'm writing a book, I'd love to tape this reading, and he got their permission, and most of them don't have their names in there, it's just like their first initial. And so he just taped the readings that he gave people and then put them together in a book. The best part about this book to me personally is his style is so miscellaneous. He goes from talking about mythological stories to talking about psychological theory to talking about just very basic, super boring day-to-day, flipping over a card with lots of pentacles on it and it means a lot of money. And I just really like that sort of approach. It's so clear that he has no preconceived notion when he flips the card over. He starts turning cards over, and whatever happens to come to mind, whether it's a mythological story, whether it's, a story about, religion. He talks a little bit about the idea of the Grail being either, Mary, the mother of Christ, or the Queen of Cups, could be her, or the Queen of Cups could be Mary Magdalene, if you believe that, she, carried Christ's bloodline, from that point of view, he talks about that. So it's just as he flips the card over, he just sort of starts talking about what comes to mind and then gives the person the opportunity to back and forth with him. What'd you think about that? What does that story make you feel? And I find that super fascinating, particularly because I have only ever given email or online readings, except for my mom, who I kind of don't count because I know a little bit more about her life. So our back and forth feels more like talking to my mom. But, when it comes to reading for people I don't know personally, they've all been online. So I don't really get the back and forth. I just sort of give them, this is what I got from the cards, and then let them take it, however they would like. So if you're actually somebody who's looking, you're starting your business and you're wondering kind of how you handle that back and forth, this is a great way to look at it. It really does sort of show you the rapport of that he has with his clients, which is cool. The other thing that is just really, for me as a high point is he's okay, not with being wrong. I don't want to say wrong because he never gets to anything where he says it's totally wrong. It's that he's okay with not nailing it right away. He says, so I'm kind of feeling like this. What do you think? And then the person either says, yeah, okay, well maybe it's more like this. And he's just like, okay, and he just really goes for it. He's not looking to be right. And I think that that's really fascinating. So let's start flipping through here. So it is illustrated with the Aquarian Tarot, and if you want to talk about how dated this book is, it says here that you can order the Aquarian Tarot for $6. I thought that was pretty hilarious. So you get a little introduction, a history of tarot that I liked. So then the way that it's set up, there it is. So you get a spread. Now, unfortunately, he really doesn't go through, this is what this position means, this is what this position means. It's clear that these are spreads he knows personally really well, like he already has them memorized. So he really only gives the reader sort of a basic idea of what this card represents as he's talking. So you get a little bit of what the position might be, but he never outright says this position is for this. Which, I mean, Celtic Cross, we all kind of have a good idea. And then he puts, at the bottom under it what he drew for each of that, and if it was upright or reversed. And then as he's talking, it shows you pictures of the cards, sort of as he goes. And then there's another one, the Magic 7. And again, he never really, that really is a con for this one. He never really says, this is what this position means, this is what that position means, which gets super devastating when you get back to the jewel of the book, in my personal opinion, which is this Jungian spread, which I really, really want to do for myself, but I can't because I can't figure out all the positions. I got most of them. But also, important thing about this particular spread, this reading, he is doing for Joseph Campbell. If you don't know who Joseph Campbell is, he wrote A Hero with a Thousand Faces and The Power of Myth. I know Kelly from the Truth and Stories talked about that, as have I before. Joseph Campbell is awesome. But he's also a tarot reader. So you get to have a tarot reading done for someone who can read tarot and understand sort of, you know, what tarot is and what it's supposed to be, and the back and forth between them about it is amazing. It's not a long book. You can see it's 123 pages, so nothing super, you know, intense or in-depth, and it ended up being a pretty quick read. But you get a lot out of it. If you're somebody who's really looking to broaden your readings, if you kind of want to know, how do I bring in more stuff? He brings in everything. Like I said, he'll turn a card over, and, you know, if there's tons of pentacles, okay, it's money. Or he'll turn a card over, and then suddenly we're talking about, you know, Persephone and her journey into the underworld. You know, so he really just lets whatever comes to his mind, you know, based on the card, come out of his mouth, which I think is really unique and something that I strive to do in my readings, to really let it be just whatever I happen to think about. I really enjoyed it. I think that everybody could get a little bit of something from it if that's the kind of thing that you enjoy. If what you enjoy on YouTube is really watching people give readings and seeing how people read, this book is definitely for you.